to all and very happy new year to all. So first of all, I would like to thank the coordinators and the organizers of this meeting for giving us an opportunity to present the high-end technology in our advanced hematology analysis. So without wasting my time, I am directly going to the presentation. So by the way, myself Biju Radhakrishnan, so I am taking care of application in Mindray. So how this technology has helped in developing new means advanced modern day hematology analysis by solving many challenges that we were facing in our laboratory. So you can see many challenges we were facing in the laboratory with respect to the accurate WBC counting, with respect to the thrombocytopenic sample and getting the accurate platelet counting, and how to remove the platelet aggregates from the sample, how to get more information regarding the erythropoiesis evaluation, and how to get new parameters, which is very useful for the clinicians, and how to avoid or reduce the manual interventions for the validation steps or to reduce the turnaround time. Okay, so how the technology has helped to face all these challenges that we will see in our coming presentations. You can see before going to the new analyzer, I would like to mention something about the old earlier technology, which has been evolved over a period to have a high-end technology. As everybody knows that the first cell counters was a 3-part cell counter where our impedance was the measuring principle. So as the time as the challenges becomes more and the requirement for solving these challenges, this new technology has came into picture in the form of 5-part differential analyzer, where our WBC was being more concentrated and we were getting a 5-part differential analyzer with some new technology like flow cytometry was introduced into 5-part differential analyzers with some 3D scattering. After that, flow cytometry along with some fluorescent reagents were added, but the analysis was done in a 2-dimensional matter. And now we are having the flow cytometry, fluorescence, and 3-dimensional analysis, which is the advanced measurement technology for WBC, RBC, as well as platelet. Now we are not only concentrating on the WBC, we are concentrating on all the 3 cell lines of WBC, RBC, and platelet to have a better analysis of all these parameters. So this technology, we call it as a SF-cube technology, where we are incorporating fluorescence and flow cytometry with a 3-dimensional analysis to have a better resolution of cell population. So you can see now the cell SF-cube technology is for all. So why I'm mentioning all? So this SF-cube technology, that is the fluorescent flow cytometry in 3-dimensional analysis, is for all the cell lines, including WBC, RBC, and platelet. So in Mindray BC6000 series is having this technology in their latest analysis. So with respect to this technology, we are also able to get some new parameters, that is approximately 84 parameters we are able to get from a single analyzer. So this analyzer is having many automated correction facility in case of NRBC, in case of platelet aggregates, or in case of some large platelet interference, or with respect to the RBC agglutination also. So we have some correction facility in this series of analyzers. This how the instrument is able to do that we will see in the coming slides. So what is SF-cube technology? How the instrument is able to measure these cell lines more accurately and more efficiently, we will see. So what is this S stands for? S stands for the scattering, that is the forward scattering and the side scatter, and which gives you the cellular size and the cellular complexity information, and the new parameter, which is the fluorescence, which is also being measured, which will give you the information regarding the DNA, RNA content, and directly it will give you the cell maturity information. All these information has been captured by the analyzer, and it is being analyzed in a 3-dimensional manner to have better separation between the population and to have more identification of some additional cell line coming in between our normal population. So because of this technology advancement, we have our BC6200 model with some 37 parameters. You can see the many parameters like RBC profile. You can see the reticulocyte profile where you are getting the grading of the retics, and you are also able to get the immature reticulocyte fraction also. Now we are also having a directly measured NRBC, and we have a platelet profile with IPF, immature platelet fraction. And in WBC line, we have added the new parameter of immature granulocytes, which is being reported. So you can see some 37 reportable parameter we are having, and we have 29 research parameter. Because of this advances the technology, we are also able to, we have been able to increase the sensitivity of the analyzer, so that now we are also able to measure the body fluid in a automated way. So this body fluid also can be done in this same analyzer without any extra reagent or without any extra cost. So coming to the research parameter, apart from the reportable parameter, we are also having so many research parameter, like 29 research parameter we are having, which is very much clinically useful in many of the disease identification, as well as in many of the prognostic cases. So coming to the reaction, what is happening in this instrument? Okay, how the instrument is able to identify the differentials more accurately and to avoid the interferences. You can see all this channel is having a specific reagent which is being added in that particular channel. For one lysing reagent will be there, which will lyse the RBCs to avoid the interference, and then we will be adding a dye which will be staining the WBC. After staining the WBC, these are being analyzed in the flow cytometer to have a better accurate differential. Now you can see what is happening with the abnormal cell. When how the abnormal cell is being separated from the normal WBC, you can see that it is being separated because of the fluorescence. You can see the normal cells will be having the lesser fluorescence compared to the abnormal cell, which is having more DNA RNA content. So now we are able to separate our abnormal cell from the normal cell. After this separation, all these cells will be analyzed in a cube 3D manner, in a cube, so that we are getting exact populations of the WBC differential. So this will also ensure that if some foreign cell particles are there, or some parasites are involved in this channel, it will be getting identified from this channel. So you can see one parameter called infected RBCs, that is the INR. This is the infected RBCs, which is being directly captured from this differential channel, which will give you indication of malarial parasite infection. So coming to the immature granulocytes, what is immature granulocytes? So these are the precursors of granulocytes. So because of the fluorescent measurement, the instrument is able to directly measure this immature granulocyte, which is a combination of promyelom, myelo, and metamyelo. So this is a reportable parameter. This will give you an early stage response for the infection, and it will also help you to identify some sepsis infections. So this parameter is a very significant parameter. Now it has come as a reportable parameter in all the Mindray BC6000 series instruments. So coming to the next parameter, which is the HFC. HFC is nothing but high fluorescent cells, which is also directly captured from the WBC differential channel, and this can be used in different kind of conditions. So one of the application is in dengue infections, where this parameter can be used for monitoring the platelet recovery. So you can see the HFC jump. Okay, the HFC jump was having good correlation with platelet recovery. So this study was done in India by Dr. Tina Dadu, thanks to BL Kapoor Hospital and Dr. Tina Dadu. So they have done this study, and they have found out that the HFC can be used as a marker for predicting the platelet recovery in dengue infections. So there are some more applications available with this parameter, that is the HFC. This is one of the applications which is available in the internet. You can download it from the internet. This was the study which was done by Dr. Tina Dadu, and it was shown that in 90% of the cases, populations, the platelet started recovering after having a HFC jump. So coming to the infected RBCs, which I was mentioning earlier. So as we are having a fluorescent dye, which is able to find the nucleic acid, it will be staining the parasite, and this will be captured in the differential channel and it will be reported as a infected RBCs. So you will be able to get the infected RBCs percentage as well as absolute count, and you will be getting a flag in the RBC messages. So whenever you are getting these messages, you can go for a confirmation for the malarial parasites. So it's a without any additional reagent or without any additional cost, by doing a simple CBC plus differential, one screening for malaria is being done in this kind of instruments. This was the study which we have done for this malarial parasite screening using Mindray BC 6800 analyzer. That is a part of 6000 series instrument. And we found that this is having 90% sensitivity for the Vivax detection. So coming to the one new parameter which has been discussed nowadays very frequently, that is the neutrophil lymphocyte ratio. It's a simple calculated parameter which is readily available in all the Mindray analyzers. So this parameter has been discussed during this COVID time because of its significance and its association with some other parameter which can be used for the prognosis of COVID patients. So this can be used as a prognostic marker to identify the risk associated with the COVID-19 infections. Coming to this advanced technology, how this advanced technology has been more efficient in measuring the low WBC sample. So in the earlier generation instrument, so there was a different mode where you have to again run the low WBC sample to get a more precise and accurate differential results. But in the advanced instrument, like in Mindray systems, it avoids the repeated run by enhancing the automatic time. So the instrument will automatically increase the measurement time when the count is very low, so that we get a more precise and accurate differential. So this was one challenge. Earlier challenge was there. So now it has been handled automatically by the instrument. So coming to the NRBC. So as you all know, usually NRBCs in a normal healthy adult, the NRBC should not be there in the peripheral blood. But if NRBC is found, maybe because of some serious underlying disease, or maybe in case of some newborn babies, NRBC can be seen. But whenever this is there, NRBC can interfere with the WBC. So this challenge has to be taken care. So Mindray BC 6000 series instrument is having a direct NRBC measurement, and it is able to automatically correct the WBC, so that we don't need to manually correct the WBC in case of NRBC interference. So we have a dedicated measurement channel for this WBC and NRBC, and it will be automatically correcting the WBC total count, that is the WBC count, as well as the differential count whenever NRBCs are there. So you can see NRBC are being separated from the WBC, and it is being measured. So this instrument can go up to measure 600% of NRBC in the automated method. Coming to the platelet ATEX and IPF and erythropoiesis evaluation. So what is platelet ATEX? So as I have explained in my first slide, so counting platelet samples, which is having very low count, was a tedious job for everybody in the lab. It was a time consuming, and it was a time consuming, as well as this whenever the count of platelet was very low, the CV used to be very high. So there was a less reliability of platelet count in the whenever the platelet counts were very low. So this for handling this challenge, so Mindray has developed a technology called the platelet ATEX counting, that the instrument will automatically count 8 times the platelet count whenever the count is very low, like when the count is less than 50,000 or 1 lakh, depending upon the laboratory settings. So you can see how the reaction is happening in this channel. For this channel, we are also using a spearing agent, as well as we are using a specific dye. So this dye will stain the platelet and RBC, since platelet is having RNA content. So after staining this, this will be analyzed in the flow cytometer. So we will be getting the platelet, which is having the fluorescent signal. So you can see the fluorescent signal on the and the forward scattering on the y-axis. So all the platelet will be coming here, where it can include the larger platelet, it can include the normal platelet, it can include the microplatelet, by avoiding the microcytic RBC interference also. So all these platelet will be included, so we get a more accurate platelet in the fluorescent channel. So this was the ATEX counting. So you can see how the histogram used to be in the earlier method, where you were having an interference with some microcytic RBCs or giant platelet, but it has been taken care and this interference has been avoided by using the optical platelet method. So what are the benefits of measuring the optical platelet? So it can avoid interference from the microcytosis, it can avoid interference from the cell fragments, it can avoid the interference from larger platelet, and it can also avoid the interference from the platelet aggregates. How it can be done? By heating in the optical channel. We will be heating the platelet sample, and then only the analysis will be done in this channel. This will reduce the platelet aggregates and the platelet will be measured directly. So coming to the next parameter, which is the IPF. So this parameter is very well discussed over last 5 years. So this parameter is the ratio of large and immature platelet to the total platelet. So this parameter is having very different uses in the laboratory. So it can be used for identifying the cause of the thrombocytopenia, whether the thrombocytopenia is due to the bone marrow failure or whether the thrombocytopenia is because of the peripheral destruction. So if this kind of identification can be done by using the IPF, and the another IPF use was the monitoring the platelet recovery in case of dengue infections. You can see whenever this IPF is going high, that means the patient will be developing more and more platelet. So this IPF also can be used to monitor bone marrow suppression in case of some oncology patients. So coming to the erythropoiesis analysis. So in the earlier analysis were able to give only the reticulocyte percentage and absolute count. This was giving an incomplete information regarding the erythropoiesis. But by giving the reticulocyte profile, like reticulocyte percentage, absolute count, and giving the different grading of the retics, that is low fluorescent reticulocytes, medium fluorescent reticulocytes, and high fluorescent reticulocytes based on their maturity and the immature reticulocyte fraction and the reticulocyte hemoglobin. All these parameters will give you the total information regarding the erythropoiesis. It will give you the erythropoiesis activity level in terms of IRF. It will give you the quality of the erythropoiesis in terms of reticulocyte hemoglobin. You can see immature reticulocyte fraction. So immature reticulocyte fraction give you the activity level of erythropoiesis. So this also can be used as a prognostic marker as well as diagnostic marker in case of bone marrow response for producing the erythropoiesis. So these are the different kind of applications. You can see the absolute reticulocyte count in association with the immature reticulocyte fraction can be used for identifying different disease conditions like like severe hemolysis or aplastic anemia. This can be identified by using this combination of immature reticulocyte fraction with absolute reticulocyte count. So coming to the new parameter, which is the reticulocyte hemoglobin. So the reticulocyte hemoglobin expression gives you the availability of functional iron at the cellular level. It's a direct measurement of functional iron availability at the cellular level. So this parameter can be used as a early indicator of the effectiveness of the iron deficiency anemia treatment, or it can also be used to predict the iron deficiency anemia. So the cutoff has been made as 28 picogram. So this is a directly measured parameter which will be having a very less interference compared to some other immunological methods. So the next new parameter is the RPI, which will give you the reticulocyte production index, which is correlating to the corrected reticulocyte count, and which is very important in case of anemic patients. So in anemic patient, so apart from having the reticulocyte percentage and absolute count, we also should have the corrected reticulocyte count. So this will be done in terms of reticulocyte production index, that is a RPI. So this RPI can be used for predicting and identifying different cases like hemolytic anemia or massive hemorrhage or iron deficiency anemia, or RP also can be used for identifying aplastic anemia. So these are the different applications. All these will be provided as a profile in the advanced Mindray hematology analysis. So you can see one new parameter, a very useful parameter, which is the fragmented red cells. In olden technology, these fragmented red cells was going to the platelet region and it was interfering with the platelet. But now, because of the staining pattern, we are able to measure and separate. We are able to separate and measure the fragmented red cells, and it can be supporting parameters for diagnosing hemolytic anemia or for identifying the DIC. So this also can be used for identifying schistocytes presence in the blood. So coming to the next mode, which is the high sensitivity mode. So the instrument is having the same instrument with the same reagent. The instrument is able to analyze body fluid. So in the whole blood mode, the instrument was able to count the WBC in terms of 100 cells. But in the body fluid need, the instrument should have a very high sensitivity so that instrument can count 2 cells or 3 cells or 5 cells, because in body fluid count will be very low. So this instrument is having a dedicated body fluid mode, which will give you the body fluid analysis in terms of differentials. So we have the body fluid analysis facility in the high sensitivity mode of the BC 6000 series. So this is the scatter plot of the body fluid. You can see the intact WBC in the down, that is the polymorph nuclear cell, and you can see the mononuclear cell. And apart from this intact WBC, the instrument is also able to give you the high fluorescent body fluid cells. This high fluorescent body fluid cells is nothing but the malignant cells. So it is very important to find out any abnormal cell is present in the CSF or any other body fluid cells. It is important to identify that particular cell also. So this BC6200 instrument will be giving you the normal WBC as well as the abnormal cell. So that means you are getting the total information with respect to the body fluid. So this is the high fluorescent body fluid cells. So you also get the information regarding the RBC. So why it is important? Though the RBC counting is also important to identify the integrity of puncturing, whether the WBC has been entered to body fluid because of the puncturing. So this can be identified by identifying the RBC presence. Coming to the specification, so we have the BC6200 specification, that is the 37 reportable parameter and some 29 research parameter for the whole blood. And you can see the instrument is able to analyze the whole blood with a very less volume of 80 microliter, and you have different discrete modes. In the discrete modes like CBC, CBC plus differential, and retics alone. So all these are possible, and you have a very high throughput of 110 samples per hour for this BC6200 instrument. So apart from this, so we have a very powerful software which is coming along with the instrument, which will be very much useful for the user to have the proper data management. Is the powerful software, which is a lab expert software, which will be used for the automatic validation, which will be used for the rerun, reflex. All these kinds of things can be handled by this software, which will be coming along with the instrument. So you can see, with respect to some predefined validation rules, instrument can go for the automatic validation. If the laboratory has some critical value limits, that can be checked by the software itself. So if the instrument is, if the customer is having some parameter and flag checking facility, it has to be, they can feed that in the software, and instrument will automatically check that. So if we have a delta checks, that is with respect to the previous value, instrument will check the values. So all these procedure, okay, the technician or the pathologist need not worry about this, all these procedure. All these procedure can be made automated because of by using this powerful software. So we have, this is the automatic rerun and reflex facility. So which was earlier available with some biochemistry instrument or some immunology instrument only. Now, because of this technology development in hematology instrument also, we are incorporating automatic rerun and reflex facility as per our laboratory conditions. So you can give different conditions of your laboratory in the software itself. The instrument will do that as per your conditions. So one additional feature is that to ensure the quality of the sample, the automated monitoring of turnaround time, the instrument will be doing by capturing the draw time from the sample barcode. So you can give the conditions of your laboratory in this software, maybe like if you are giving some 3 hours of time for drawing the sample and analyzing the sample. So that time limit you can give it in the software, and if the sample is being analyzed after your laboratory condition, the instrument will automatically give you a warning that your turnaround time has been completed. So this can be done in the automated way by use of this advanced software. And the beauty of this software is that this software can be installed along with the instrument, and the same software can be installed in different PCs of the different doctors. So doctors can see all the results, all the data of one particular patient, and they can do their validations from their PC itself. They don't need to come near to the instrument. It is that is not required. We can have a less paper. We can have a paperless validation for all these abnormal results. So that's from my end. Thank you very much. Thank you once again all for your support.